Hi there, I'm Mark Burnett, and this is my 2020 project where I attempt to complete 40 tracks from the last 20 years. For those of you who don't know who I am, great, you're going to find out loads. And for those of you who do, brilliant, because you're going to see more of my ugly mush. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of reasons why I'm doing this project. The main reason is, though, very personal. I have an archive of tracks and ideas that have basically been accumulating for many years, some of which I've realised are basically finished, some of which are really worthy of being finished, and mainly they're just sitting on a hard drive in my studio and they're not doing anything. And if I don't do something with them, they're going to just end up on a skip someday, and all of that time and energy and ideas will have been wasted. So it's kind of a personal spring cleaning job that I'm doing, and it's also with the objective of kind of sharing this whole process, because obviously finishing tracks is one of the things that people struggle with the most. And it's not just about finishing the tracks, it's about what do you do with those tracks then? How do you get them out into the public domain? What do you do with them then? How do you push them? How do you get some kind of comeback from all the time and energy and love that you put into your music productions? So I very much want to share that whole experience with everybody. I'm also going to be sharing quite a lot of in-detail production related stuff, and as such I'm going to be dividing this entire year series into two types of video content. Basically, there'll be a short weekly video where I talk to you about the decisions that I've had to make and the various processes behind the scenes, and then there'll be a longer kind of in-depth production video where I'll show you some of the tips and techniques and methods that I've been using in Ableton Live to finish those tracks. So this is the first video of 2020. We're already in week 2, so I've got some catching up to do. But I haven't been sitting on my hands the last 2 weeks. I have been racking my brain, racking other people's brains, and really trying to come up with a sensible strategy. Although it's not perfect, I've decided that the only way to get this done is to start rolling with it and to make the improvements as and where I can as we move forwards. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the first project from my archive. Yeah, so it's kind of a 9-minute epic cinematic techno monster. As you can obviously tell, it's not been mixed. I obviously didn't get that far with the process, and of course I produced it nearly 12 years ago, or around 12 years ago, and my production skills and a lot of the other methods and techniques that I would now use obviously weren't employed in this. So it's going to be quite interesting bringing that up to date. But yeah, I mean, where would I have placed this track? What would I have done with it back then? I really didn't have an idea. And now I feel like there are so many more options, and you have so much more freedom as an artist to just put your stuff out through various platforms, that I'm just going to do it. And to hell with whatever consequences from not doing things properly. So this is the first track. It's currently called Dark Sided version 4. It's bracketed collected because I've had to re-find a lot of the original samples that were in here. They were missing. Some of them have been falsely replaced. I've also had to dig things out, like my trusty old 505, because that was actually existing as an external instrument in the project somewhere. So that needed to be somewhere here, relocated, and yeah, so there's a few basic things that I've done, but I'm going to go into more detail in the production video, which will be a separate video for those of you who are really interested in the production aspect. And then, of course, I'll be using Instagram and all these other social media platforms to just kind of put out small updates, and basically just going to spam the hell out of all of you with like infinite stuff about me, because that's what the internet's all about, right? So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy the ride.